I guess in this way of training, so we need, other than the part that residents can do the self-reflection, which I think this is the best part of it. But we constantly need someone to assess these competencies and confirm these competencies in the residents during the training. And this is where that it becomes very subjective. And some preceptors may find someone competent in one of these competencies, and for the same exact resident, some other preceptors may find that resident is not competent in that specific field. The other big problem, which is I guess solvable, is that right now preceptors actually haven't received any good training regarding these competency-based training, and also many of them actually don't have any idea of these model of training, especially for I should say specialty programs. I have noticed that they are way behind this model, and for us as a family residents, we rotate through different rotations, and we work with different specialties. And in our specialty rotations, we see that the preceptors, they don't have a good idea of what this competency-based education is, and sometimes we can even see that the preceptor himself or herself doesn't have that competency, and we sometimes wonder that how when a preceptor doesn't have this competency, how that preceptor can assess that competency in the trainee. And sometimes I guess that this part is a problem from the design of these model of training, that sometimes it becomes actually very subjective. The assessment evaluation of these competencies in the training, it becomes very subjective. Yeah.
Well, that's good. You named a few things there. I'm wondering if you have personally experienced any specific challenges with the CBME training model.
Yeah, multiple times, as I said, mostly during the specialty trainings, because, for example, in surgery, they don't have any idea, surgery rotation, they don't have any idea about these competency-based education. They haven't started that yet. And then our program wanted us to be assessed by them based on these competency-based evaluation, but they didn't have this idea. And even in my own field, many preceptors, I've noticed that they don't really know what these competencies are. I remember one preceptor was like, it happened to one of our residents. I remember one, he was actually a family preceptor. I remember he said, he had told one of the residents that he didn't have competency in scholar because he was not following up the results of some blood works of the patient. And so it shows that some preceptors, they don't have any idea that what these competencies are, which could be resolved in future by training the preceptors more about this kind of training. But I guess there will always be this problem that it will be very subjective. It has happened to me that one preceptor told me that I'm beyond expectation in one competency, and the next day I was working with someone else and was telling me that I didn't have that competency. So it sometimes becomes very frustrating that it's very subjective.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be frustrating. So sorry, just to clarify the example you gave previously, the preceptor said that the resident wasn't competent in the scholar competency
Yeah.
because he wasn't following up with blood work,
Yes, exactly.
which doesn't
But
fall under the scholar umbrella.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't fall.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it falls under professionalism, but definitely not under scholar.
No, certainly not. Okay. I guess just shifting gears a little bit, what methods of assessment are used to monitor your progress in the program and in acquiring specific competencies?
Most of the time, the end of rotation evaluations that we receive from different rotations, based on those, we'll assess our progress is assessed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's no assessment tools that are used. I guess more intermittently throughout the rotations. It's just the end of rotation that you're perceiving as the main tool for assessment.
So we're trying to get some feedbacks as field notes from the preceptors that we're working with, but usually it's very hard to get a very official feedbacks. Most of the time, it's only limited to a very limited conversation, and usually we get very broad feedbacks, not very specific feedbacks regarding the work that we did on the same day. And most of the time, it's based on the assessment is based on the end of rotation evaluation that we receive.
Okay. And were those methods, I guess, the end of rotation feedback as well as the field notes explained to you? Like, were those methods explained to you?
So what was the question again?
Just were the methods explained to you? Like, did you have an understanding of your assessment, I guess, going into rotations or at the start of your program?
Sometimes yes. At the end of the rotations, we see it with the preceptors and we discuss about it.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened more in, I should say, in family-based rotations and internal medicine-based rotations, maybe because they're more familiar with this new model, or I'm not sure, they have more time, or I'm not sure, but it mostly happened during these rotations. And we also on last day we were talking more and discussing more about these evaluations. But in some rotations, not really. We never had a chance to discuss about it, and we even received some evaluations like 3 months after the rotations that we were wondering even if the preceptor was remembering us when we filled out this evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
So it varies. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think these assessment methods are adequate and appropriate?
I don't think so. Because as I said, they're very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should get more frequent assessments during the rotation,
Mm-hmm.
and more specific feedback. For example, regarding a specific performance that we had on a day, and so that we can get more objective feedback. We usually get very broad, non-specific feedback and assessments, and that is why I sometimes wonder that these competencies were really assessed, or it was just overall feeling of the preceptor.
Right. In terms of your program's implementation of the CPB model, is there anything that you wish had been done differently?